Good morning. Today I was looking around at all my stuff and I saw a fork and I thought, let's make a video. This is a Ballistic single crown, upside down, QR20 axle, carbon. You can see there's carbon on the outside here. But I'm pretty sure this is just carbon on the outside of aluminum. But single crown fork, this is the little brother to this beast, the carbon, Bombshell Marilyn. Also upside down, also fake carbon. This one has an actual through axle, not a QR20. This one is like 8 inches, this one's 5 inches. This has 40 mil lower legs, this has 36. This one, I think, is going to be elastomers, if I remember correctly, and then some type of rebound damper. I've never had it apart. This one, I want to say, is coil sprung, but I can't remember. And I haven't taken this one apart either. That'll be another video. This one, I think, has a little bit more advanced damping. It says right on here, oil nitrogen sealed cartridge, so that should be fun. But today we're going to do this one because these are pretty simple. It's interesting, on the bottom, I don't know if you can see, there are these holes that appear to be threaded, but nothing's going into them. So we'll take it apart and see why that is. QR20 was something that was developed by Marzocchi, so it has this through axle that is actually technically part of the fork, but the hubs that came with these had like this would slide through and then you could use it like a regular quick release. It just made it easier to change wheels, but you really had to have this step to really get this to engage, and then you would close this. It worked pretty well. I rode a couple Marzocchis back in the 90s and they work fine, but because it's upside down, the legs can do different stuff. One is going to be spring and the other is the damper. There's some resistance here because it looks like the damper's pushing back, but yeah, preload on this side, rebound on that side. Let's see what we got. Don't want to crush it. I'm not quite sure what tool goes on here, but this pin spanner should work just fine. And also these aren't, I don't think they're super tight. Yeah, so those will just spin loose. But then also this is a 22 millimeter. Hopefully a whole bunch of oil doesn't just come squirting out. Oh. Huh. Just hold the dirty knob in place. That's what she said. Alright, so this is spring side. Oh, there it is. Elastomers. And this has to thread into this leg. That's what keeps it together. You can see how it moves as one piece. You can press it. The elastomers still have, they're not crumbly or rubber, or well, they're not goo. So that's the preload. So that just compresses that. I'm not quite sure how you would get that apart. It spins. Can't imagine it would just thread in. Let's take the knob off. I don't think that's going to solve my problem, but just a knob and a screw. Oh. I think that might do it. Now that seems kind of like really not much to keep your whole fork together. Don't want to break it, but come on. Man. There we go. Cool. So that's just the preload adjuster, slides on there. And I bet this whole thing will slide out now. Yep. So there's the leg. It's curious though how that goes together. Because there's no I can see a bolt, but I don't know how you're supposed to get the hole. There's a hole right here, but it's behind this dropout. And I can see inside, I can't get this on camera, but down inside here, there's a bolt that attaches this internally. Very odd. I mean, it's not surprising. This was a pretty budget fork, and this stuff was not designed to be, you know, it's designed to be sold and not really serviced. Which I always hate designs like that because it just means they don't care about the future or the consumer. Anyway, pretty standard seal. This is grease based. You can see there's a little grease in there. and then 2 bushings, pretty standard. Also, you can see inside, this is just an aluminum tube that is wrapped in carbon. That was a very popular thing to do, both with cranks, handlebars, BMX forks, because Ballistic also made BMX forks. They would put the carbon on the outside because it looks cool. Doesn't really add any stiffness, just adds weight. So one way to sell stuff is make it look fancy. Let's see what the damper looks like. There's my garbage can. I have a garbage can. Alright. Damper side. Sealed cartridge. Same thing on this. This is going to be, I have to take this top cap off. So, what size are you? Let's do this. This is a little tricky because I don't want to support the whole fork by the damper. But it will kind of be supported by the damper for a bit. See how tight this is. Yeah. Real tight. Remove it. Remove it. Squeaky, squeaky. Remember, fire is hot. So if I can do this. No. Actually, Occam's razor. There we go. Occam's razor. The simplest answer is usually the correct one. So that's what that was. Let's keep going. Now this is all hot. Yep, that's hot. Still hot. Hot bolt. And this doesn't even thread on, it just falls on. Okay. So same thing here. Now that I got the damper adjuster top off, this just slides out. Oh, a little bit of oil in that one. I'm not sure why that side has oil, other than maybe this damper is leaking. Oh yeah, you can hear it's a little gassed. Let's keep going. See if I've got this one. 30. Yep. Nice fit. Okay, cool. This is going to be a good angle here. There we go. Oh, good. So that was barely tight. Oh, this is, hang on. When in doubt, open stuff with a rag on it. Because I don't actually know what's inside here, it always makes me nervous. If it's pressurized or what, I don't think it is. I think it's just a, yeah, it's just a cartridge. Okay, cool. So there's the damper. And then this is the adjust. Dial it in. So that's super slow rebound. It almost has like a stuck down, like so much rebound, it's almost stuck down when it's full closed. I mean, it's, you know, I can also tell this is a little gassed. I'm not sure if this is pressurized. I think this is as far as I'm going to go on this one because I don't really feel like taking this apart all the way, only because this fork, it's a cool fork, but I'm not going to ride it. This is yet another classic example of it belongs on a wall in a museum, not on a bike. I'm sure it's fine, but stuff like this, like, it would be interesting to ride it and see, oh yeah, crappy damping and elastomers. Okay, that we've done that before. And QR20 on an upside down fake carbon fork, I'm sure it's stiff enough. I mean, for its time, 36 mil legs was actually pretty big, which they had to do to get an upside down fork with a non-bolt-on axle. They had to do that to make it feel stiff. But yeah, I don't really have any plans to ride this. So that's why I don't take certain things like this apart. If it's a design that I can see, like if I know what's going on inside here, or if a customer sends this to me and they're like, look, it's already dead, just do what you can, then I'm happy to try and take stuff apart. But technically this is still intact. It is also leaking a tiny bit, but that's kind of common for this style damper. And it's also probably 20 years old at this point. So let's put it back together. Overall, this fork is really clean because I don't believe it's ever been ridden. The dropouts don't have any marks. Steer tube is uncut. Elastomers are in really good shape, even for their age. They've basically been captured inside this tube. So. Still not quite sure how I would get those elastomers out. But lucky for me, they're in good shape, so I don't have to take those apart. Alright, rebound is on this side. Slide that up through. I think that cap is probably cooled off by now. There's only one way to find out. Touch the fire. That's it. That's it. It just sits there with a bolt. Not very advanced. And I wouldn't go real hard in the paint on this thing. But that's okay, because I wouldn't ride it anyway. Sorry. Sorry. Knob's got some schmoo. Again, that's probably because this thing is very slowly leaking over time. Cap, just keep that knob in place. Don't need to crush this, just you stay put. So then it just slides down. It's got the rebound. Don't need to crush that. And as on the other side, this just slides up through. There's the buddy. So this engages, there's like a D shape right here, which engages with the knob. But everything else is just about getting these little slots lined up. Cool. Put a little grease on here. preload. So you notice, just real quick, it helps that this doesn't have any tools that I can use to just run this thing in, but anytime I'm putting on a top cap, every single time, anytime, I always go to start and I'll back off until I feel one thread click. Now I know that because it has backed in and found the threads, then I can start to thread this by hand. Any top cap, I mean any threaded anything really, but any top cap should go in by hand as far as possible. Then you can use the tool to finish it off. I don't see it a lot, but there's times when folks are working on their own stuff at home and they, two things happen. They either don't use the proper tool for the top cap and they round it off, or they go to thread it in and it feels like it's going and then they just finish it off and it's been slightly crooked for a bit, or a little bit of dirt gets in here, and you just totally mess up the threads. It seems to happen most of the time that the top cap gets messed up, which is good. I think the top cap is technically a softer material on most forks than the threaded portion of the fork, because the top cap is like 40 bucks and a CSU is not 40 bucks. It's usually much more. So, but totally preventable either way. All right, there you have it. Ballistic upside down fake carbon. It's, you know, it got the job done. Upside down coolness, fake carbon coolness, single crown, QR20. But now we know what's inside. Thanks for watching. As always, if you have friends that are watching the channel but they haven't subscribed, you need to berate them to subscribe and like and follow and all that stuff. And then also, I always try and let people know, please leave comments or ask questions. I do my best to check those and respond. And then also look forward to a video on this fine piece of equipment in the future. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.